Brandon Johnson is on CNN, bro. Like, do you hear me? Guys, this is about to be a train wreck. I know it. I'm sure you guys know it also. But either way, guys, let's go and jump to the video immediately. I'm not going anywhere. Chicago mayor responds to Trump's call for him to be jailed. Let's go ahead and see where this takes us, guys. Suggestion via channel member.
Brandon Johnson. So, Mayor, we're going to get to the National Guard in just a minute. But first, President Trump this morning called for you, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, to be jailed for, quote, failing to protect ICE officers. What is your response?
Well, first of all, this president is unstable, unhinged, a double-minded individual that, quite frankly, is a threat to our democracy. And it's certainly not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly.
Jesus Christ. All right, so obviously he's referring to the Central Park Five. You guys, if you don't know this story, definitely do some research on the Central Park Five and Trump's relation to the Central Park Five. Like, guys, understand that he did nothing more, let's say, than echo the overall sentiment of the time. Understand this here. Every single person, based off of the flawed detective work, let's say, decided that they were going to kind of move forward with charging some people. There's an entire documentary about it, guys. I mean, it was a terrible case, okay, for all parties involved here, okay, including the people who were blamed for it. Let's say that there. But either way, that's not the point we're talking about here. But the thing is that, guys, listen, Trump, what he said here, pay attention here. Is J.B. Pritzker considered a black man? And maybe in 2025, I guess he can probably call himself that, and everyone will believe him, right? I guess that's the thing, right? But he's not, last time I checked, right? So it's obviously has nothing to do, let's say, with the color of the skin. He's talking about actions here. Yeah, he's the mayor. Okay. Did the chief of patrol specifically dictate to the dispatch officer that no police were going to be sent? Yes, guys. That the receipts have been shown. Okay. Now that person obviously scared to death, let's say, of him looking bad to Brandon Johnson. But the problem is that in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure what he specifically had to do with that. But again, this is your charge. You're responsible for what happens in your city, guys. I think that's probably the end, the logical extreme, let's say, of the actual argument here. Trump is pointing out that you, sir, and J.B. Pritzker need to see some type of jail time due to that instance. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin, more so your actions.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm as the mayor of this amazing city, which was voted 9 years in a row the best big city in America. And we're going to defend all of Chicago.
Yeah, and to be clear, he's also calling for the governor, J.B. Pritzker, to be jailed as well. What are you hearing when it comes to the Texas National Guard troops, when they'll actually be deployed into the city, what they're actually going to be doing there?
Well, there's been no communications with my administration and the federal government. What we do know is that this president is working outside the bounds of the Constitution, and that there are National Guard from the state of Texas that are being, quote unquote, trained just outside of the city of Chicago. And keep in mind, these individuals do not have policing powers. They do not have arresting powers. So the judge right now in Illinois is looking at what exactly is the mission of the National Guard from the state of Texas. We know this is illegal, unconstitutional. That's already been proven in the courts in Oregon, and we fully expect the same ruling to take place here in the state of Illinois.
And the White House says that they're doing what they're allowed to do under Title X, the law. They say that these operations are designed to protect federal facilities and officers. And there have been some protesters around Chicago that have blocked access to the ICE facility in Broadview. Does that prove that this mobilization...
Did you just give him a hardball question on CNN? Did you point out his contradictions to his smug face? Did you do that? I like that. This is intriguing. Is CNN getting better, guys?
Is needed?
No. In fact, this president is working to... Look, from the very beginning, we always knew that sending in the federal agents was a pretext to the National Guard. His ultimate goal is to send the military into American cities. Which there are people who are signing up to serve and protect our democracy abroad to be then unleashed on the cities that are actually raising them. What we have seen is a full escalation from these federal agents. A man was shot and killed Another person was shot by federal agents just this past weekend. They unleashed tear gas on my local police department. Over 24 police officers were subject to this type of violent escalation. The people in Chicago are very clear about our fundamental right to protest. That is a fundamental right for our democracy, and
Right,
that's
it's
what we're
fine.
going to continue to protect.
Yeah, guys, I don't think anyone really has any serious issue. Don't get me wrong here. There are some people who absolutely are not or would not ever be considered constitutionalists, let's just say this year, um, who will absolutely say you shouldn't even be protesting, bro. Let them protest. They are American just like you are, right? Just because you don't specifically agree with why they're protesting doesn't mean that they shouldn't. The problem tends to be, let's say, when things go from peaceful into what they generally kind of turn into, let's just say this year, that's when we're no longer talking about like a First Amendment protected activity. We're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about this left wing violent protest type of environment that tends to consistently happen when they get too emotionally charged, generally, right? They think that by them protesting, that actually has any meaningful change. It doesn't, truth be told here. You're just standing there voicing your opinion, peacefully. Do that. Do not, under any circumstances, start blocking traffic, and like I don't know, chasing ICE vehicles down, let's say, or trying to block the vehicles. You have no authority to do that. The First Amendment does not cover this activity. It doesn't. We're no longer talking about a protest. So, like, listen, guys, I love the idea. I'll even go as far to say, you can burn our American flag, okay? And I'm not going to feel a single thing about you doing it, right? Not like that, at least, because again, you are engaging in a First Amendment protected activity. That's how much of a constitutionalist I'd say I am in the context of this year, okay? So just understand this year, all right? And I love my flag. I would never burn my flag. Right. I retire my flags when they fade. Understand this here. So just understand. It bothers me, but I have no technically. I'm not going to say anything to the person doing it. I wish you wouldn't do it, but you're protected. So let's move on. So the problem here is that, guys, Brandon Johnson just mentioned that there's somebody been, like, is punctured by a bullet, let's say, pretty recently. It seems like he doesn't want to understand exactly what happened during that incident. The people of Chicago decided to basically, surround and ram into vehicles. And what happened? The ICE agents, of course, did what they had to do by protecting themselves from the people that were attempting to surround them, circle, and box them in. Right. And then the person who got punctured by the bullet had a gun on her. Right. So just understand. It seems like he every time he speaks, he tends to leave things out or just like purposefully omit things.
Right. And on the woman that was shot, DHS has said they did that for defensive reasons. She was car ramming. But there are certainly questions surrounding that still. But when it comes to what I had mentioned, for example, protesters blocking access to federal buildings, what is your message to those protesters?
Let's hear this
do you
nonsense.
Support them blocking access?
What I've always said is that we have to peacefully assemble, and we do that non-violently.
Right.
That is how we have transformed this country. The city of Chicago is known for its ability to stand up and to resist peacefully. So
but are they doing
that? Not condoning any acts of violence. But that also includes that the federal government cannot unleash tear gas and shoot pepper balls at journalists for just showing up to do their job and to cover the news. This president has intentionally worked to escalate violence in the city of Chicago and cities across America. We're just simply defending our fundamental right to our democracy. This president has made it very clear he doesn't support this Constitution. And if Congress, which our framers designed for Congress and the Supreme Court and the courts to provide checks and balance, if Congress will not hold this president accountable, I will.
You're not gonna do nothing, bro. Listen, bro, stop sending me Brandon Johnson on the screen, guys. It's hard. All right. It's hard to listen to this man shill for no reason, guys. All right. Like, listen, again, I am a staunch, I would say, constitutionalist. Trump is following the Constitution, but the problem is, I would say, for many people, is that he's pulling up zombie laws, right? Like laws that exist, but like, they're there, but like no one uses them. It's like in like a town in Georgia named Kennesaw, where by law you have to have a gun in your house, right? Many people don't, and it's not enforced. But one day, if they wanted to enforce it, they can pull up a zombie law, and now all of a sudden, everybody that is like, super liberal or something like that is gonna go to jail because they have no gun. You get what I mean here? It's that's kind of what's happening, right? But it's still on the books, right? So what are we arguing? It's there. We just didn't enforce it. You see what I'm saying? And so here's a problem, guys. Brandon Johnson is a very like troubling person for me because he just feels like a shill to me. Obviously, he has admirations past to where he is right now, and he's just trying to. All his like his only goal is to do whatever is needed for him to be like Gavin Newsom, like on steroids type of thing. He wants to be like that, right? Like he wants to have that level of like authority, and I think that would be as terrible as Gavin Newsom running for president. Well, I mean, I guess it would probably be good because I mean, all you have to say like in reverse to him is like, "Aren't you the governor of California?" Right? And then immediately, I think any sane-minded person would be like, "Ugh, California," right? That's like the West Coast Jersey. Jeez, guys. But either way, but for different reasons, obviously, guys, right? But so here's the thing when it comes down to it, I'd say, when Brandon Johnson just says things that he thinks his base are basically going to clap on, right? Like I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for something interesting, like something that's like coherent, something that's not like just rooted in like blatant, obvious, just like nonsense, right? You know the people are going out there and doing craziness. We don't condone it, but yet you keep telling them to do it. All right, you keep telling them to do it, knowing that every single time it's going to come down to this here. You're saying that they tear gas police officers, they tear gas journalists. Where were they? Were they in the crowd of insurrectionists? Were they? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you think the people that got tear gas were in the crowd of people who were absolutely causing mayhem or near it. Let me know. Does ICE have the ability to control the wind? All right. Like, listen, if you actually told your police to actually control the scenario, then maybe they wouldn't have gotten tear gas, Brandon Johnson. All right. Because if you're allowing the federal government to say, listen, we're done, bro. We're done. You guys, you got your side basically keeps coming out here doing all this absolute crazy. That's it. All right. Once we recognize the crowd is getting out of control and the police are literally doing nothing, or they're not even there because Brandon Johnson or the chief of patrol basically told police not to even come out there. What are you expecting, Brandon Johnson? This man is annoying. like I mean, this is this is frustrating to encounter someone running somewhere like a major city, and all of his responses are like this. They're like this. This is Mr. Defund the police while having like 100 police officers on staff just to protect him. Bro, get this man out of office, guys. All right. This is nuts, bro. Major American city being ran by this man. By him. All right. Listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later. I know this isn't it. Even though I say don't send me more, I know you guys are going to, because I think some of you guys are trolls, right? But this is frustrating, bro. But all right.